Good evening. This is Monday, June 2nd, 155 days until the 2008 presidential election. Only hours until the South Dakota and Montana primaries, the final two contests of the Democratic nomination process. Senator Hillary Clinton appears on the verge of suspending her campaign for the Democratic presidential nomination and of endorsing Senator Barack Obama. That's the widespread reading of the electoral tea leaves today after a tidal wave of separate reports that add up to the end in sight probably by tomorrow night. In our fifth story in the countdown, the components, she has reportedly personally urged her top backers and financial donors to attend her speech in New York City tomorrow night. She reportedly told Senator Obama last night that their staffs should begin to bargain over what to do after Tuesday. Her official schedule after a morning speech in Washington on Wednesday is blank, and perhaps most saliently, her staff has reportedly been urged to turn in all of its expense reports and receipts before the end of this week. Now the details of what is being perceived as the final countdown. That being only the short list of omens portending that Senator Clinton could be preparing to leave. The others emerging today as the New York Democrat campaign in South Dakota included a memo obtained by ABC News showing that members of her advanced staff have been given a choice. Either they fly home to await further instructions or they use that airline ticket to travel to New York for tomorrow night's party. But if they come to New York, they would be responsible for flying themselves home. In Washington, at least 34 members of the House telling NBC News they are planning to endorse Senator Obama by tomorrow. Party leaders such as Governor Howard Dean, as well as many Clinton supporters in Congress, now wanting it to be over. Meantime, in the Senate, the dozen and a half undecided superdelegates there meeting this afternoon to discuss how to proceed on making their endorsements. Sources telling Politico.com that they are likely to back Obama in the next few days. Finally, and perhaps most tellingly this morning, in Millbank, South Dakota, which is near Feynman, North Dakota, her husband, President Clinton, signaling that the primary battle is all but over.
I want to say also that this may be the last day I'm ever involved in a campaign of this kind. I thought I was out of politics till Hillary decided to run. But it has been one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to go around and campaign for her for president.
Of course, there is always the chance that somehow Senator Clinton herself has not gotten the memo. This afternoon at Rapid City, South Dakota, the senator telling voters that she is still in it to win it.
We had a great victory in Puerto Rico yesterday, another lopsided win. I am now over 300,000 votes ahead of the popular vote. In delegates, but we're going to make our case to all of the delegates as to who would be the best president, number one, because that's the most important question, and number two, who would be the stronger candidate against John McCain.
The senator's math still as fuzzy as her path to the nomination would seem to be. Senator Clinton needing 198 delegates to secure the nomination. Senator Obama only 39 and a half. After Congressman Jim Clyburn gives his expected endorsement tomorrow, that would be only 38 and a half delegates to the nomination. That after Senator Obama picked up a sum total of 4 superdelegate endorsements today to 2 for Senator Clinton, according to the NBC News hard count. And in delegates overall, it is Senator Obama 2,078 and a half, and Senator Clinton 1,920. The new magic number, of course, after this weekend's DNC meeting, 2118. In Waterford, Michigan this afternoon, that's correct, Michigan, not Montana, Senator Obama evidently feeling good about his chances.
We feel good about the number of superdelegates that we've been accumulating, and my sense is between Tuesday and Wednesday that we've got a good chance of getting the number that we need to achieve the nomination. But obviously, there are 2 more contests remaining tomorrow, and we want to stay focused on winning Montana and South Dakota.
Talk of delegates, the traditional cue now to bring in our political director for MSNBC and NBC News, Chuck Todd. Evening, Chuck.
Good evening, sir.
Good to see you in the person. Clinton, 2 superdelegates today, Obama 4. Is that the flood?
That's not the flood.
Okay, is that the trickle before the flood?
Apparently, it'll be the trickle before the flood. Okay. I mean, they've been promising and promising and promising this flood of superdelegates. They do want to be able to declare victory tomorrow night. They are not renting out the XL Center in St. Paul, Minnesota to somehow say, and wait for our press release tomorrow, where we will officially cross the finish line. So what happens tomorrow? I mean, I've heard all sorts of theories that there will be groups that get released tomorrow throughout the day, allow the momentum to build, 4 or 5, do it at a time. You talked about our report about the House members. I know it's my understanding at least 18 are ready to go tomorrow. Mm-hmm. The rest of the 34 would go by Wednesday. These senators, you can sort of see how, and some of them would want to go in a clump, actually wouldn't want their own releases in that way. It's almost an easier way to sort of hide a little bit. You don't want to necessarily overdo it. So, but look for supposedly the clumps.
Right.
Now, the two theories: do they do it by the evening newscasts because she goes on and they want to have crossed the finish line before she speaks tomorrow night?
Oh, okay.
Forcing an interesting congratulations, or do they wait and allow it at Montana, puts them over the top?
But in either event, it requires some combination of superdelegates. In theory, well, I guess you're saying the opposite of this now, that it was superdelegates plus delegates so that they could not make any claim that, oh, just superdelegates put him over the top, as if suddenly superdelegates were an evil thing in the Clinton camp's mind, as opposed to their only salvation. But now, is that they're willing to go superdelegates tomorrow?
Well, that's just one theory about this idea of trying to go over the top before she speaks. But look, they're surely to get at least 15 delegates tomorrow night, possibly 16. With likelihood 16, 17, somewhere around there. So in order to do that, you do the quick math. That means they need about 24 superdelegate endorsements tomorrow minimum. Obviously, they want a little pad. So we would assume that 25 to 30 get rolled out sometime before 9 p.m. when polls close in South Dakota.
And then we all go home.
Yeah, and then we all go home. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think it depends on, what kind of... It was interesting today. Our folks pushed the Clinton campaign. Do you accept 2,118 as the magic number? Nobody has said that yet. It's sort of a we'll see. And that'll be one thing, I think, to look for tomorrow night in her speech.
The whole thing about superdelegates, as we've heard throughout here, that there would be necessarily at some point some poaching, some, let's put it nicely, some convincing, some changing of mind would be necessary. And she said that as late as last night that might happen.
Not only did she say that, she brought the poster child for doing this. There is this Virgin Islands superdelegate who has switched twice. He started with Clinton, switched to Obama, then switched to Clinton again. So what did she do? While she was in Puerto Rico, she invited him to come on over, hop on the plane. So she used him as the example. See, here's this superdelegate who has switched twice. So look, she has a point. We have that guy, the Virgin Islands superdelegate who's done this twice. But it's unlikely that you're going to see that kind of flip-flopping.
And a very bitter irony that he's representing, of all places, the Virgin Islands when he switched so often. But in any event, if this is about getting superdelegates to substitute their judgment for the judgment of Democratic voters from the Clinton, if that's the last gasp thing, and we don't know, that it might rear up again tomorrow night. There may be a change of mind in the campaign. Why on Saturday did Harold Ickes, in front of the Rules Committee meeting, talk about, I am stunned that we have the gall and the chutzpah to substitute our judgment for 600,000 voters in Michigan? Am I missing some, what seems to be parallel construction there? Is there something different about those two substituted judgments?
It's interesting. I think to sort of cut Harold Ickes some slack in this respect, he was speaking to the frustration that you have in the core Hillary supporters who are just angry and upset that they're going to lose. I mean, this is a very close race. Somebody was going to lose. And so when he did that, for instance, I got a whole bunch of email from Clinton staffers that said, right on, you go. They were just, it was almost, I think I described it the other day, sort of when somebody cut you off on the road and you finally felt like you got them back because they stopped at the red light and you were like, aha, you got yours. So I think that was an in-the-moment sentiment. It'll be interesting to see how much that fades away.
Yeah, we'll have to see what he's planning to do in August. Where is he? Where is he that week in Denver? Is he in the
Does he come to Denver?
Is he in the Virgin Islands, perhaps? MSNBC and NBC News political director Chuck Todd. Great, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow night.
You got it, sir.
Hopefully for the final show of the season.
Well, there are no more primaries.
Yeah, well, you think so. There may be some in the books. We don't know.